The Unapologetic Revolution, Embracing Your Power Through Authenticity. Have you ever wondered what would happen if you stopped apologizing for taking up space? If you showed up as your full authentic self without shrinking, without filtering, without the constant internal negotiation of how much of yourself is acceptable to reveal. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Jamia Morrow, a visionary whose work has transformed countless lives across communities often pushed to society's margins. Her insights have fundamentally shifted how I understand personal power. Jamia isn't just a thought leader, she's a revolution catalyst who has built bridges between theory and practice, between trauma and triumph, between individual healing and collective liberation. Her wisdom forms the backbone of what I'm about to share with you today. We live in a world that has very specific ideas about who deserves to be seen and heard, a world that has created elaborate systems to keep certain voices, particularly those of Black women, contained, controlled, and conveniently quiet. But what Jamia Morrow revealed through our conversation is that the most revolutionary act isn't fighting these systems head on. It's refusing to let them define your reality in the first place. The moment you decide that your uniqueness is non negotiable, Jamia told me, is the moment you reclaim your power. Think about that for a second. Your uniqueness, not your conformity, is your power. How many of us have dimmed our light because someone told us we were too much, too loud, too ambitious, too emotional, too direct, too everything? I see some knowing nods out there. We've all been there, haven't we? But here's what's fascinating. When we study those who've created lasting impact in this world, they didn't achieve it by blending in. They achieved it by standing firmly in their truth, even when, especially when it made others uncomfortable. Let me share a story that perfectly illustrates this principle. Dr. Ramza Jaan, a faculty member at Jamia Millia Islamia in India, faced immense cultural and institutional barriers as she championed women's entrepreneurship in Kupwara. In a region where women's leadership was actively discouraged, Dr. John didn't just face resistance, she faced outright hostility. I remember sitting across from her during a conference in Delhi, watching her eyes flash with determination as she described the day a local official told her, "Women here don't need business skills, they need to learn their place." Most people would have backed down, many would have compromised. Dr. John did neither. Instead of shrinking, instead of making herself more palatable to those who held power, she doubled down on her vision. She developed university programs specifically designed to support women's self reliance and entrepreneurial growth. She created mentorship initiatives that connected established women leaders with emerging voices. She built workshops that gave women practical skills alongside the confidence to use them. The result? A dramatic increase in women's participation in both entrepreneurship and higher education. A new generation of leaders who saw their gender not as a limitation, but as a source of unique perspective and strength. And perhaps most importantly, a fundamental shift in what seemed possible. Dr. John didn't change the world by asking for permission to exist. She changed it by existing so powerfully that the world had no choice but to make space. This is what Jamia Morrow means when she talks about embracing your individuality unapologetically. It's not just about self acceptance, though that's certainly part of it. It's about recognizing that your uniqueness isn't just something to be tolerated, it's your greatest asset, your superpower. But let's be honest, Standing in your truth isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it's downright terrifying, especially when you've survived trauma that taught you staying small was the only way to stay safe. Which brings me to the second profound insight from my conversation with Jamia. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about transforming adversity into fuel for growth and achievement. Consider this remarkable story. A Black woman who survived domestic violence, sexual assault, and the devastating loss of a parent as a child later founded her own private mental health practice. She faced not just the echo of personal trauma, but also systemic bias and the daunting challenge of building a business from scratch while still healing from deep wounds. What made her journey extraordinary wasn't that she overcame these obstacles, though that alone would be remarkable. What made it extraordinary was how she transformed them into her greatest professional assets. She leveraged her lived experience as a source of profound empathy. She pursued professional training that gave her the tools to help others navigate similar pain. And she built a brand centered on authentic care and advocacy for marginalized communities. Today, her practice serves as a safe space for others facing trauma. She's become a visible role model for resilience and entrepreneurship, particularly within the Black community. And she's inspired countless others to seek help, embrace their stories, and pursue their goals without apology. This is what resilience as a superpower looks like. It's not about pretending the hard things never happened. It's about refusing to let them have the final word on who you are and what you're capable of. As Jamia Morrow so eloquently put it, your wounds can become windows through which others see possibility. But there's something else happening when we embrace our individuality and transform our adversity, something that extends far beyond our personal journey. And that's the third key insight from my conversation with Jamia. Authenticity breeds impact. The Department of Design and Innovation at Jamia Millia Islamia offers a powerful illustration of this principle. Founded on Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of self reliance, this department set out to bridge traditional indigenous craftsmanship with modern technology while addressing pressing social justice and environmental issues. What made their approach revolutionary wasn't just their curriculum, it was their unwavering commitment to authenticity, to honoring traditional knowledge while embracing innovation, to centering marginalized voices, to creating space for diverse perspectives. The result? A pipeline of socially conscious designers and entrepreneurs who are fundamentally changing the landscape of Indian design. Graduates who have launched startups and community initiatives focused on sustainability and social impact, and a broader influence on design education throughout India that promotes authenticity, self reliance, and social responsibility. When the department showed up authentically, refusing to conform to conventional education models or to separate design from social context, they didn't just create better designers, they inspired a movement. This is the ripple effect that Jamia Morrow speaks about. When you show up as your true self, you give others permission to do the same. Your authenticity creates space for theirs. Your courage becomes contagious. And suddenly, what seemed like a personal journey becomes a catalyst for collective transformation. So, what does all this mean for you? For your life, your work, your relationships? It means that the parts of yourself you've been taught to hide might actually be your greatest gifts to the world. It means that the challenges you've survived haven't just made you stronger. They've given you unique insight and empathy that others desperately need. It means that when you show up authentically in your business, your community, your family, you create ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. But how do we actually do this? And how do we embrace our individuality, transform our adversity, and show up authentically in a world that often punishes exactly these things? We start small, we take one bold step today. Maybe it's speaking your truth in a meeting where you normally stay silent. Maybe it's launching that idea you've been sitting on because you're afraid it's too niche or too different. Maybe it's setting a boundary that honors your worth, even when others push back. As Jamia Morrow would say, the revolution begins with a single unapologetic no to what diminishes you and a resounding yes to what makes you come alive. And here's the beautiful thing: when you take that step, when you show up as your full, authentic self, you'll discover something surprising. Yes, some people will be uncomfortable. Some may even walk away, but others will be drawn to you precisely because of your authenticity. They'll see in your courage a reflection of what's possible for them. This is the paradox at the heart of the unapologetic revolution. The more you embrace what makes you different, the more you discover you're not alone. So I leave you with this challenge. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, ask yourself one question before anything else: what would I do today if I truly believed my uniqueness was my power? And then, this is crucial, actually do that thing. Because here's the truth that Jamia Morrow helped me see: the world doesn't need more people who fit in, it needs more people who stand out, who speak up, who show up, who refuse to shrink their brilliance to make others comfortable. The world needs you, not some watered down, acceptable version of you, the real you, the messy, magnificent, unapologetic you. And when you finally give yourself permission to be that person, that's when the revolution begins. Not just for you, but for everyone your courage touches. So go ahead, take up space, use your voice, share your gifts. The revolution is waiting, and it starts with you.